Welcome to Heroes and Droids, your guide to movies and TV shows about superheroes, sci-fi, Disney action. From Marvel to DC, from Star Wars to Star Trek, from James Bond to the Fast and Furious, we'll discuss theatrical films and streaming delights you care about most. And tonight we are going to count down our top 10 most anticipated films of 2023.
Dun dun
It's here.
dun.
So we have 12 months to look forward to. Which films are each of us got our eyes on? That's what we're going to do. All right. I am your host, Doc Rotten. Joining me tonight are my co-hosts, starting off with the SLATTMAN, Chris Slattery. How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm excited to start this year off on a positive manner and looking forward to blinking and it already being December.
I blinked and it did that last year. It's crazy. I don't know what happened. All right. Also joining us is podcasting rock star and international cosplay queen, Vanessa. How you doing?
Feel like I need some fireworks, like entrance for that.
Just set up the LEDs behind you to just go off, and you can have the pew, 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 pew noise too.
That's all I need.
There you go. There you go. You just need a catchphrase too. Come on.
That's my 2023.
All right. Also joining us this week is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. I'm anticipating everybody's list and see if we all did something similar or different, or if it's all crazy like.
It's all crazy like Christopher Moore, the man whose mic also doubles as a heater. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Keeps his face warm. That's
more like Sith looking.
So, yeah, it is.
I'm trying to get tan for the summer.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. This is going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this. We're going to count down our top 10 films most anticipated for 2023. We'll each go through our top 10 and then we'll just have a discussion about it. This is going to be a blast. We'll just go one by one. Before we get started, we want to encourage you to hit the like, the subscribe, share with a friend buttons. Each and every one of those will help us reach more fans like yourself. And that'd be awesome. We would be so grateful. Thank you. All right. You know what? Let's just dive into it. Let's just dive straight into it. And SLATTMAN, sir, you are up first.
All right, so I have a couple of honorable mentions in no particular order because they didn't quite make the top 10 or they didn't really fall into what we talk about on this podcast. But I have to shout out Evil Dead Rise and Meg 2 because they would have been in my top 10 overall movies for the year. Evil Dead probably would have been number 2 or 3 for me. Just excited about them. Kraven the Hunter only because I've heard of the early positive buzz that we've heard, but I expect it to be better than Morbius. Hopefully it's better than Venom. But don't have high hopes. Creed 3's trailers look amazing, but I've never seen any of the Creed movies, so it's hard to put it in top 10. And Blue Beetle only because DC seems to be at their best when they're adapting lesser known characters. So there's hope for that.
All right. Before you get into your top 10, I want to mention a couple things that some of our listeners may not be aware of. One is that we do another podcast called Horror News Radio, and that's where we did our most anticipated horror films, which is the reason why Evil Dead Rise Meg 2 didn't make your list. Otherwise, they would have been on your list. And then the second thing is that these are most anticipated. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the best films of the year.
I
We're just
about that in my top 4.
All right, so go ahead, sir. Rock it.
Number 10 is 65. Dinosaurs plus alien vibes plus Adam Driver. Enough said.
Very good.
Number 9 is John Wick Chapter 4. Amazing action choreography. These movies are fascinating to watch because of that. I'm not sure we need a fourth one, but I'm excited nonetheless. Number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Gunn has a great track record with this franchise, and I'm really excited to see where it goes, especially since this is the last movie for these characters and this team surrounding them. But I'm kind of worried. Can it overcome the trilogy finale curse? Number 7 is the Marvels. I personally loved Miss Marvel. It was one of my favorite Marvel shows of, what was it, last year or the year before? I can't remember. Everything was
Last
together.
2022.
Yeah. So yes, either way, still one of my favorite Marvel shows, and I like Brie as Captain Marvel, so it should be fun. Should be a fun pairing. Um, Number 6 is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, mostly because Jonathan Majors looks amazing in the trailers. But I'm still a little worried about that, trilogy finale curse.
Oh my gosh.
Number 5, the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is only so high because every trailer and snippet that we get of it makes it seem so much better. I was initially not very impressed with the first trailer, but everything that we've seen since that first trailer has kind of inched it up in the rankings a little bit. And now I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. Number 4 is Wonka. This is probably the most intriguing movie on my list, mostly because we know so little about it, but it has a good cast. It's an interesting concept, and the photos that they've released from the production just make it look interesting. Plus, it's a musical, so gotta have a musical on my list. I like them. Number 3 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I don't expect this movie to be good, but trailers make it look like it's going to be a fun, amazing, enjoyable time, and that's all I want out of a good D&D movie.
Oh, I love it.
Number 2 is Dune Part 2. Part 1 has really grown on me, and it's a movie that I look back on very fondly. And I it's just one of those movies that has gotten better over time for me. And considering how much love and care the filmmakers, like from the directing, from casting to art direction, music, everything was put into part 1. I have a hard time seeing that part 2 won't be another success in that same vein, where I'm fascinated by it at first, but it just kind of gets better over time. And then last is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The first Spider-Verse movie is my favorite Spider-Man movie ever made. I consider it to be an animation masterpiece. Spider-Man is also my favorite superhero, so I'm not biased at all that I think that based on the trailers we've gotten for this movie, that it seems like Sony Pictures Animation might be able to capture lightning in a bottle twice.
That's the tricky part, isn't it? That's the tricky part. This is a good list. It's a good list.
Funny enough, it doesn't feature Fast 10.
That Fast 10, yes. Reminder,
those movies coming out so ridiculous.
Yours was a Fast 10, but no Fast 10 in it.
Oh man, that's funny. Dungeons & Dragons number 3 is killing me, but that's awesome.
Again, I don't expect it to be good, but I expect to have a good time watching it.
I don't know how to understand that.
Yeah,
I figure it has to be good for you to enjoy it.
no.
I mean, you can enjoy bad movies.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about sort of like The Room bad good,
It'll have some. It'll be good in its own way.
Yeah, he's hedging his bets on a guilty pleasure.
It feels like one of those. It feels like one of those 90s. It feels like one of those 90s.
Feels like a
movies.
doc special.
Possibly,
yes.
That's what's gonna make it great.
Doesn't fall far from the tree.
That does not.
No.
Does not. Oh my goodness! I corrupted the poor soul. All right, you'll make it. You'll make it though.
Maybe you shouldn't have shown me Lake Placid and things like that.
Lake Placid is amazing.
I had to show you Lake Placid, man. That's a classic.
Great movie.
Speed. How many times did you watch Speed growing up?
Too many to count.
Oh my god!
I have the banner, the movie theater banner
for Speed.
For Speed.
That's fantastic.
Oh my god! You know they're making what Speed 2? No, it's not Speed 2. It's never mind. I'm talking about something else. It's Twisters. They're making Twisters.
Yeah.
Yes, which
I managed a movie theater when Twister came out.
It's a
too, as well.
different story altogether. All right, let's move on. Vanessa, you're up next. Let us have it.
All right. I'll do my honorable mentions first. And this honorable mention, the first one, it would have been my number one movie as well, and it's Evil Dead Rise. But that would be on the horror side. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I really enjoyed the first Shazam movie. I had a lot of fun, and I think maybe, unfortunately, because of all the Black Adam and DC drama, that even if it's really good, it may not get like the reception it deserves, or it's going to be really crappy, and I'm going to be very disappointed. So,
No.
well, I hope it's good. I think it'll be fun. Creed 3 as well. And to your point, I too have not seen Creed 1 or 2, but something about this movie makes me feel like you won't have needed to. They're going to give you everything you need to know, and it looks awesome. Like the two of them together look really good. I'm excited for that. And the storyline that the story that they're telling is pretty cool. Also Meg 2, because why not? Why not the Meg 2? And then Doc mentioned this one, which I didn't even really realize or remember, Haunted Mansion coming out next year. So we'll see how that version of it goes. I still like the Muppets version the best. That one's my favorite.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
That's my favorite. All right. So top 10. Number 10, The Marvels. Same reason. I loved Miss Marvel. She was so fun, and I love the way they told that story about Pakistani people and her life and everything that they've been through, and just what Disney has hired some female writers right now that are just telling these amazing female stories. Like they're just writing women and young girls in such a cool, awesome, relatable, real way. And Kamala embodied that so much. So out of all of the Marvels, she's the one I'm most excited to see in that movie. Number 9 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, because
what is happening?
that movie's gonna be fun. Chris Pine, come on, that's gonna be fun, even if it's horrible. It's gonna be like Star Trek bad but good. Tie him into two of the same. Number 8, Super Mario Brothers, because that also looks like it's gonna be really good and really fun. Number 7, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It looks amazing already. I too loved the first what was the first one called, Chris?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And just the way the animation, the way that they drew Kingpin, it's how you imagine it. You know how it is in the game. To see the two of them together was just really, I love it. I can't wait to see more. Number 6, Dune Part 2, because we have to see how this story ends. Number 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That looks really good. I'm a little tired of Marvel, kind of, if that makes not tired, but like maybe oversaturated. I love She-Hulk, but I'm just like some of the movies that are coming out I'm not that excited about. But Quantumania, I'm excited about that one, because that one's going to open up so much more too. Number 4, Barbie. The Barbie movie. I think that's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so... I can't wait to see what story they're telling and what they're doing. Number 3, Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, or whatever the next installment is going to be called. And we'll see if it comes out next year. It'll be one
currently set for December, but I haven't started filming yet, so
we'll see.
Cross your fingers.
Number 2 is 65. So I'm very excited about that. Everything about that is everything I love about movies. It's just, I can't believe they're going to where they're going in the story. And they told us in the trailer too, so you know what you're going into. I'm really, really excited. I love Adam Driver. I hope he constantly has his reconnaissance of Adam Driver-ness for years to come, because I just love watching him. And number 1, since I couldn't do Evil Dead Rise, is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. what I've seen of that so far is freaking awesome, and the de-aging that they're doing is at such a crazy good level that I think what they're trying to do, they're really gonna pull off. And I'm excited to see who's taking the whip and the hat, you know, who's gonna come in, because who I'm thinking it might be who the girl that's in the movie. She would be pretty awesome. I think she would be pretty great, but we'll see.
Short round.
Sure. I mean that
Oh,
you
that would be
already
awesome.
you already know he's got the moves. We saw it in Everything Everywhere All at Once, so he could
Yes.
definitely take it. But we'll see. I don't know if he's gonna be in it. They said he won't.
Probably
but
not.
It'd be cool if he was.
I find it interesting that Ghostbusters Afterlife is on your list, because it almost crept into mine, but
Mhm.
I don't have high hopes that it's actually coming out in 2023.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't consider it. I don't really think there's enough
Yeah.
time, because especially special effects and stuff. And
But we
But-
had a bunch of stuff on our list last year that didn't.
well, that's true.
Some of these.
That's true.
Some of these. movies.
Although I'll tell you right now, this is probably sacrilege, but I thought it was visually amazing, but I don't really have a huge interest in Dune 2. I thought the first one was very boring, but it was visually amazing. But I've always found the Dune stories to be the most boring sci-fi ever created. And
There should be
It's
more
just-
action in the
yeah.
second one.
and 65,
there will be.
65, I don't really have much of interest in either.
Yeah,
Oh,
It didn't do anything for me at all.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like a live action.
If we have to watch it for the podcast, I will.
You're
But
gonna
I
love
would
it.
I would wait for streaming if I didn't have to.
Whatever. You're gonna love it. That movie is great.
Whatever.
You're gonna love it.
Not unless he pulls out a lightsaber or something. and-
No, you never
I
know.
love
You
it.
never know.
Yes, with all those guns.
Yeah. They all.
That's gonna be great. It's gonna be
It's gonna be
so much
awesome.
fun. The dinosaurs look great. Like, do something with dinosaurs other than Jurassic Park, where the dinosaurs look awesome, and that's what they've done. It's gonna be good. You're gonna like. it.
We need more good dinosaur movies.
Sure do. Yeah, they should be every year, just like the annual shark movie we've been getting for.
Maybe
Dinosaur movies, yeah.
maybe with the Brendan Fraser Renaissance, we'll get like Encino Man 2, 3, or 2 or whatever. Send it back to dinosaur age.
The Mummy Prehistoric Age.
Yeah.
Oh,
Send them
that
back.
could work. That could work.
I'd be happy for that.
All right. Well, let's move on.
Oh, by the way, I did not put Guardians 3 on there. Doc and I talked about this because I feel like that movie's gonna be nothing but sad.
It's going to be too sad to be on the
Too
list. Oh,
sad.
okay. All right.
I believe only sadness is gonna come from Guardians 3.
I don't think that's a good reasoning for that, but anyway.
Doesn't want to cry in the theater.
Okay, well, I've already told you a few that are not going to be on my list, but a few of my honorable mentions. Shazam 2. One that nobody has really talked about, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I just want to see the stunt work for that. It's an honorable mention just to see that. Wonka, I have slight interest in it, but I haven't seen enough to be sold on it. You know,
Mhm.
I want to see more before so it's honorable. Elemental, I think, Pixar always does really great stuff. Although Elemental feels like a combination of some of the other stuff they've done before, but it still looks interesting. Dungeons and Dragons, I have it on my list, honorable mentions.
There you go.
Even though because I like 90s action films, and this feels like we went back in time and made a 90s action film with better CGI. The Marvels is on my honorable mentions. I'm interested in it, but I don't know, for some reason I don't know. Also, one that supposedly might be coming out this year is Sofia Coppola's Priscilla, which after seeing the Elvis movie, I'm interested to see her story, which is based on Priscilla Presley's book Elvis and Me.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of interested to see that perspective instead of the crazy perspective Baz Luhrmann has. Anyway, getting my top 10, I've definitely got 2 films nobody probably had on their list because it's my geeky filmmaker brain. Asteroid City, which is Wes Anderson's film that's coming out.
Didn't even know.
Look at this list of people that are in this: Edward Norton, Margot Robbie, Tom Hanks, Scarlett Johansson, Maya Hawke. Let's see, Steve Carell, Bryan Cranston, Tilda Swinton, Adrian Brody, William Dafoe, and Jeff Goldblum.
Nice cast.
No.
Nice cast.
And I'm a sucker for Wes Anderson, even though people make fun of his style and stuff. I like it that he has his own.
Texas.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really cool how he tells his stories, and it's always intriguing, weird, and I'd love to be that kind of person at some point. Like, oh, that's a Christopher G. Moore film, and you always know a Wes Anderson film by the way he makes his film. So that's my number 10. Number 9 is a film called The Killer, which is based on a graphic novel. But it's being directed by David Fincher, and it's adapted by Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven. So you got him pairing up with David Fincher to tell this story about a hitman or whatever. And of course, I love David Fincher films, so I'm really excited about that combination of them working together again and telling this story. Number 8 is the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Who'd thunk? I feel like this is going to be the Brady Bunch movie of this year. It's got that. It's wearing its, it's making fun of itself, but having fun with it at the same time. And I don't know. All the combination of people that are in it, it just looks like it's going to be a fun time. And I think, a lot of people some people crapped on. I even like the funny thing they made fun of in the trailer with the 2001 bit. I mean, it's just really, it's just having fun. So
yeah,
what more can you say? Number 7's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's definitely in my top 10. Not really higher up because it's not being directed by Spielberg. Of course, Spielberg directed Crystal Skull, so he's not always infallible. So I'm interested to see, with this being the last part of that, we get, is it Sala? Is that the guy's name from the first?
Yes.
Yeah, he's back in it. And so I don't know. Just one last, really great story. And I think at the same time, I think bringing a new director with a different sensibility could bring some more fire and coolness into it. And maybe it'll open up some stories for other things. And I think as long as the CGI young Harrison Ford works okay, maybe we'll get to see, another one of the, early Indiana Jones stories, but told with the younger Harrison Ford. So I don't know, but I'm excited about seeing it. And I think where they made fun of the bit that's always been funny in the very first one where he shoots the guy. So I love that bit in the trailer. Number 6, if it comes out or if it's not buried, The Flash. I think more at this point it's more of like a train wreck that I have to see. And mainly because I want to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. That's the main reason I want to see it. But at the same time, I want to see DC's version of the multiverse. I want to see how they're going to tell that. So again, just please release it so we can see it, and then we can get over the actor that's in it. Let's see. Number 5 is the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think after seeing the most the recent trailers, and Chris Pratt's voice is just fine. It doesn't bother me anymore. It looks kind of fun actually, and of course, it's got Anya Taylor-Joy voicing character, so you've already got me sold. I'm already biased, and I'm not even seeing her live action form. But yeah, it looks fun, and it doesn't feel like I know that Slatman always makes sort of Illumination stuff, but it doesn't feel like an Illumination film to me. So that's a selling point. And I think the way they're going about it, especially, I love the Bowser character in general. So I think the way Jack Black's doing Bowser is great. So I don't know. I think it'll be a fun movie. And so I'm excited about seeing that. Number 4, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm excited about seeing it, although I'm worried, if it's just a spark instead of lightning in a bottle again. But I am excited to see them playing around with different forms of art in this one as well that I've heard. and all the different characters we're going to be able to see in this, which is, I don't know. So I'm excited what they do with this, how they can sort of expand it beyond the first one, which I think the first one, is one of the best Spider-Man films out there. Although I'm a huge Spider-Man 2 fan. So Sam Raimi. So I'm excited about seeing that. Number 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This looks like another sort of, it looks like it's going to be a big fun movie. And again, I kind of like it when Marvel goes more, even though the last Thor movie didn't do it perfectly. I want to see more sci-fi, fantasy, action, Flash Gordon type stuff. And this feels like that. It even has a little bit of Star Wars in it as well. Because there's even like aliens in a bar scene. So I'm excited about this, just all the different visuals in it, and the use of music. And of course, Jonathan Majors, I just love his Kang, and I'm just excited to see what they do with that. So I'm really excited about it. And I've been one of the big fans of the Ant-Man films in general. I love the second one a lot, as well as the first one. So I know there's always the worry about the third one, but I don't think we're at a point now where that may not be the case anymore. Number 2 is John Wick Chapter 4. They can make a million chapters of this, and I will be there day one. I love the John Wick films. I hope he keeps kicking ass until he's like gray and old and using a walker to fight off with guns at the end of his walker. Or John, mother call him John Walker. That's something else. Yeah, that's something else. I love the John Wick films. They just have some of the most amazing choreography and stunt work, and I love the mythology around it. I'm excited about this new chapter in it, and I can't get enough of it. I'd love to be able to do a movie like that someday myself as a director. And number 1, I'm a huge James Gunn fan, so Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I don't care if it makes me cry, because I'm secure in my masculinity and my femininity, whatever that means.
Nice.
I'm expecting it, because I think it's going to be but at the same time, as someone who has enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and they've always had a big heart, I'm expecting that, because this is going to be the end of James Gunn's journey with the Guardians, and also the end of probably some of these characters that we've followed from the first and the second. So I'm excited to see where this story arc ends, and watch where these characters go, because I've really enjoyed these films. I felt like these films have kind of opened up doors for other films to be made, because again, that was back in the how can you make a movie about a talking tree and a talking raccoon? Well, here you go. I think that's the one I'm most excited about, because after seeing a lot of the stuff that, with what he did with Peacemaker, I'm excited. And also with the Suicide Squad sequel, making a second one that was better than the first. I'm just expecting nothing but sort of fun and humor and heart and maybe a few tears. And I'll be happy. I'll take pictures of myself crying, and I'll text it to Vanessa. Just rub it in her face. I'm enjoying every tear. I'll put a straw to my eyeballs and just suck all the tears in my mouth.
That's weird.
Yeah, I just went weird. Anyway, that's my weird thought.
Beer bong is tear duct. That's weird.
I want to comment Quantumania, like you were saying. I think one of the things I'm most excited about it is I think it's going to be a little bit more of that kind of multiversy thing we were looking for with Doctor Strange, that we kind of they only like touched on in Doctor Strange. I think we're going to get all of that in Quantumania. We're going to see a lot of multiples and a lot of people. Well, we've already seen it with the Ant-Mans. But I think there was just something missing from, and not that I don't like that movie. I love Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, but I think there was a little something missing from that is going to be satisfied in Quantumania.
I really wish we'd get more like sci-fi fantasy action movies like that. You know what I mean? I don't think we get enough of those.
65?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sci-fi fantasy, not some regular person who goes back in time.
You don't know that
like
about
Dune?
like,
you don't know that happened.
not like Dune. I'm not talking about people who get tan in the crack. I'm talking about like Flash Gordon or the serials type stuff. That Thor kind of tried to do, but
Thor was a COVID movie. People hate on it so much, but it was a freaking COVID movie. They did what they could, and they used the volume.
I like Thor Ragnarok, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. I just want more sci-fi type action adventures that are more, yeah, just not a guy that goes back in time.
He needs his Star Wars fix is what he needs.
Well, but it doesn't. I don't want it to be Star Wars. I want it to be other things. Not everything has to be Star Wars or Star Trek or Stargate or any of these things that have star in the title.
Stargate.
If
But
it doesn't have star, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I like that you put Asteroid City on this because I totally overlooked it. The cast, like you said, looks amazing. Adrian Brody, Willem Dafoe, Sophia Lillis.
Tom Hanks, the first time he's worked with Tom Hanks,
and Rita Wilson,
and his wife is in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got such a loaded cat. Maya Hawke, who's who's turned it out to be like, wow, she's gotten the best of both her actor appearance.
She did. It was a nice blend.
When does that come out? Because I didn't even know it existed until you mentioned it, and I'm very excited about it now.
I was perusing lists because I was worried that everybody's list was going to be the same. So I found the Criterion Channel had a list, and it listed all the indie films. And I think they said it comes out
June 23rd.
Yeah, I think in June. Yeah,
that's
exciting. I think he has another film too coming out later in the year. I think he has 2 films. I think, but
great.
But
the wonderful story of Henry Sugar, whatever the hell that's going to be.
Yeah,
you never know with Wes Anderson. It's going to be awesome though.
Henry Sugar.
Type thing.
All right. Well, I'll jump into mine. First thing, I'll digress a little bit. We did our top 10 for 2022, and I finally got to see both Top Gun Maverick, and the Glass Onion. I've already seen Glass Onion twice, and I'm dying to see it a third time. Glass Onion would definitely be at the top of the list.
So good.
And Maverick was everything I never knew it could be. It was, I can see why people were like, giving it all the praise and bringing people into the seats of the theaters. It really did its job well. It was amazing. All right. So going into my list, again, there's a number of films that would have been on my list had we not separated out the horror, from Evil Dead Rise being one of them, Haunted Mansion being another. I had Haunted Mansion was number 1 on my horror list, of course, because, hey, look at my shirt. I love Haunted Mansion. Slatman may be able to attest to that. And then, so it's definitely on my list. It's a ghost at the number 1 of this list. You just don't know it. All right. Does that make any sense? It doesn't matter. All right. Honorable mentions. Yeah, The Flash. I had to drop The Flash back to honorable mentions because it's just frustrating, that movie. The whole thing about that movie and what it's done to other movies, and then the whole it's just a mess. I'm still going to go see it. But yeah, there you go. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is in my honorable mentions. It hasn't quite got my attention like you guys, but I'm still going to go see it. Creed 3, and the only reason it's on the honorable mentions because I haven't seen Creed 1 or 2. And again, this one, the dynamic between the 2 leads is just so. I mean, it just sucks you into the trailer, just the 2 of them, the chemistry between the 2 of them, the opposing forces, and they both look like they're going to do Oscar worthy performances. I can't wait to see it. It looks amazing, and I don't really like Rocky films or Creed films, so it'll be interesting. Dune Part 2, for the obvious reasons, and Dungeons and Dragons, of course, it's on my honorable mentions, and for the very reason that Slatman said is the reason why it didn't quite make it into my top 10. Although it could have, it really could have. There was a time it was in there and it fell out. We'll just say that. And then I skip over 65. Oh, and I forgot about it. I couldn't believe it, and somebody mentioned it. I had to put it in my. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I am interested in seeing 65. But apparently not enough to put it in my top 10, so it's only on my honorable mentions. All right, my top 10. Number 10 is The Marvels. I am, of course, a Marvel zombie, so it's going to be hard for a Marvel movie not to make it on the list. And yes, I'm looking for, Iman Vellani and Brie Larson, but I'm also looking forward to Teyonah Parris coming back, Monica Rambeau. From the WandaVision series. I want to see that. And of course, Samuel L. Jackson's coming back as Nick Fury. I'm very curious about what they are going to do with this, because they might be playing around with the Negaband things that, later versions of like Captain Marvel, the male version had, and then some other versions. And see if that's what if they're going to like be trading places, because that's what they did at the end of the Miss Marvel series, which I really enjoyed, by the way, like you said, Slatman. So anyway, that's number 10. Number 9 is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. The first one surprised me so much, and I love that it's so lighthearted yet so action filled, and I think I need that. I think I need it, so I'm looking forward to it. Number 8 is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I was wondering if anyone was going to have that on their list.
And of course, it isn't coming out till Christmas, a year from now, when we unblink our blink. But I'm looking forward to it regardless. Barbie's number 7. I didn't think this would make my list. I wouldn't have thought that a month or so ago, but that trailer looks so much fun. It just the dancing and the colors, and I'm like, and the sense of humor it has, because of the whole 2001. Oh, okay, they sold me. Just put it that way, they sold me. Super Mario Brothers the movie. I didn't want to put this on my list.
Why did you?
Because it won me over. Like you said, the first trailer was okay. Well, that looks better than we feared, and then it just kept getting better, and the little snippets and stuff. I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm ready to jump into this world. I want to see all the characters. I want to see what they do, and all right. Let's keep going with the animation. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 was on my list last year. Looking forward to it. Same reasons everybody else had: the animation, the story, seeing all the other Spider characters. I like that. Was it Spider-Gwen or whatever? Is coming back, and she had to, right? So looking forward to that. Looking forward to see what they do. And the first one is really so amazing. I don't know if it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. It might. It's up there. It's definitely up there. And we'll see how this one does. I'm curious what they're doing with the Part 1, Part 2, but I trust them. So I trust them quite a bit. Number 4 is Wonka. I put it at number 4. I love the character of Willy Wonka. I love the one from the 70s. I didn't like the remake terribly much, and this one looks like it's going to be more like the original and than the remake. Maybe not exactly like the original, but Timothée Chalamet as a character just looks really wonderful. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a blast. And like you said, it was a musical, and I really didn't take that into account because I didn't realize it was a musical until somebody said it was going to be a musical, and that's a plus. And I could have bumped it up to number 3 on that if I had known. All right, at number 3, having to speak of number 3 is John Wick Chapter 4. Come on, it's John Wick, and the cast is increasing. The trailer looks fantastic, and we were left on such a cliffhanger. Yeah, come on. And then we are going to get more. We may not get another John Wick film, but we are getting more John Wick universe stuff. We're getting the ballerina, right? And then we're also getting the Continental, right? The Continental for the TV show. Yep. So there will be more John Wick universe, John Wickiverse. That doesn't work in our future, but we'll start off with John Wick Chapter 4 in March. Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Yeah, that's it's not the most anticipated Marvel movie, but it is up there. And it was a toss up. Which one of these am I going to put at number 1? And this one, it's it's because it feels, it's kind of the same reason Vanessa didn't put it on her list at all. You know, it's going to be like this sad ending, and I'm not looking forward to the ending of it. I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm just not looking forward to the door being closed on it. I am curious how they're going to keep, which characters are going to keep around, and what they're going to do with Adam Warlock, who's a character I really like. They're going to introduce him here. I'm not entirely sold on him just yet, but I'm not like grossed out by it either. I'm looking, I need to see more. And number one, if you haven't guessed, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I really enjoyed both the Ant-Man movies, Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I think this one's going to top it. I like that all our characters are there at the beginning and they're thrust into this world. We got the daughter growing up, being played by I forget the actress's
somebody
name.
else.
What's that?
They recast her. She's played by.
Well, yes, she's recast again, but she's from
Freaky.
Freaky, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just setting up so much, and it's and I like that they're going into this other world, so it's going to feel different in that aspect as a Marvel movie, but yet it really is this gateway into, I guess, phase 5. If we are still doing phases of Marvel, right? So phase 5, and I think it's going to, and they're touting it more like an Avenger movie as opposed to an Ant-Man movie. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I do want to. It's number one. What can I say? Number one.
Interesting thing that I noticed about most of all of our lists. Most of the movies come out between now and June. So it's going to be really dry for the second half of the year, it looks like.
Don't know.
Yeah, because the only ones I've got Aquaman, Barbie, and Wonka are all in.
And Marvels, I guess, but it's like, but that's still like summer, like fall and winter feel like kind of lacking for this year.
Yeah,
shows to watch though. They might have shows in the fall too.
Yeah, because August through November, there really isn't anything on our list. I don't think.
Except Dune.
When is Dune coming out?
November.
Okay, all right. So I was thinking it was a December movie for some reason, but yeah. So I'm glad you said that, because I propose that we come back in 5 to 6 months and do a part 2 with all the movies you're thinking about that are going to be coming out that we aren't.
Okay.
That we don't have trailers on,
right,
because we're like kind of iffy on it. Like, I wonder if that's biasing us at all.
Well, but I think a lot of the films we're picking are like a good portion of the big audience movies, and a lot of those come out in the summer or the beginning of the year.
True.
A lot of your more dramatic stuff comes out towards the end of the year in the fall. So, I mean, there's a few things, that they may release in like December.
Well, nobody picked Plane from January, so hey.
Well, I think the title alone. I hope that I kind of hope the Zucker brothers make a parody and just call it Plane with an exclamation point at the end. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. We are talking about a lot of the most anticipated usually are the more big, blockbuster type movies, and those don't necessarily come out in the fall as much.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
although, yeah, I mean, some of the ones that like Kraven is coming out, I think in October, but that didn't make it. It made and I don't is what's the other Sony Spider-Verse movie coming out?
you mean like Madam Web?
Madam Web. I don't know if that's coming out this year. Is it?
I think that got pushed to 2024.
Wasn't Aquaman, wasn't that supposed to come out earlier?
It was supposed to be out this year.
Yeah.
And now it's coming out next year.
They shot stuff for it,
Yep.
and they took it out.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard about that too.
Yeah.
Well, there might have been a little.
I kind of wish that was the movie they should have gotten rid of instead of Batgirl, but that's just me.
Yeah, and then all the fucking what's her name stuff. I'm sorry, guys. That one this year. This has been a crazy year, man. Or last year was a crazy year.
Well, DC seems to have a hard time with its stars.
Oh, and I would have been like Shazam and Aquaman are really what saved DC for a little while there. Like they brought the fun and the energy back. And so to now them kind of be like relegated to like, wait, okay, you're gonna get a second one, but like that's it. Like
It might be the last one
like, that's kind of
until
a
the
bummer.
reverse. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think the problem is a lot of those big films had some kind of drama surrounding it, you know.
Yeah.
Because you had like the main actor from The Flash, or you had Amber Heard, and you know, and Aquaman. So you have all these things. It's kind of like, and then you, of course, you the whole thing about, you know, what the WB's doing with some of the
Oh my
properties,
God.
and so it just kind of taints a lot of it, you know, and makes people less interested in it. So, or I don't know. I guess we'll see when they come out if the interest it would be as big if all that stuff hadn't happened. But
Yeah, we'll see.
Because Aquaman made $1 billion.
Yeah, which is sad because it wasn't.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. You didn't like it. It was good.
I didn't like it. Yeah, I think it's James Wan's worst film.
Would James Wan agree with that? I don't know.
We need more James Wan movies. This means, he needs to get out of the superhero.
Coming, doesn't he?
So he can make more movies.
Working on that Godzilla series, right?
Well, he's producing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Like Megan.
Like Megan, yeah, he's yeah. But needs to make more movies. Needs more Malignants, right, Christopher? More Malignants?
Oh, how dare you? How dare you?
That movie is so freaking like divisive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I do wonder, to your point, Slatman, is like what movies are going to be announced, like probably in between the time we stop recording and I drop this podcast online is probably when we're going to find out about all these movies, right?
Well, also, I know they announce certain dates and they want to release it, kind of like the Ghostbusters thing, but I also don't want them to rush it so they can get it for a certain date, because that's when your special effects get all crazy and messed up to where, and when it's released, they're changing the digital reels. So I wanted to be able to just make the type of film they want to make and not be rushing it for a specific timeline, because I think that's when we run into the problems with certain films not being as good as what they could be, you know.
Yeah, definitely don't rush the second Ghostbusters. Let's keep that franchise alive for a bit, shall we?
Yeah, although I mean they do have plans to make like the animated type films, which sound really interesting and stuff. So they have other stuff they're working on as well. So, but yeah, I no need in rushing stuff, you know, because I think we found just because of COVID how some films, because they had time to sort of wait, and they were able to change it up and make a better film because of it, you know.
Or make a film we'll never see, like The Flash.
Well, there's that, you know, but yeah, I don't know. But it also, doesn't it feel weird?
Actor's fault.
Yeah, doesn't it feel weird that we have all these films like Blue Beetle and stuff, and we haven't, or Wonka, and we really haven't seen anything, and they're all coming out this year? I feel like we usually get stuff ahead of time by now. You know what I mean?
Well, Wonka's done. Wonka's in the can.
Yeah, but where's our teaser?
I don't even
Wonka
from it, right? Is it a pre?
It's a prequel. It's a prequel to Gene Wilder's.
Well, Wonka, I would argue we're due for a teaser within the next couple months, right? But they've released set photos. You know, we've seen something, you know, for it, right? Blue Beetle, we've seen a poster, and that's supposed to come out before
even
Wonka.
less. But I will say, just because TMZ takes pictures of people's photos on set, that's not good promotional type stuff. So I really feel like, you know,
but it is free promotion.
It is free promotion, but I'm just saying that, like, I feel like if you know, going back in the past, I think we'd be more marketing out there, or maybe they're just not want to spend the money on marketing because it costs so much to market stuff. So maybe that's the problem.
Or they know it's going to be bad, so they don't market it. I'm looking at you, Disney and Strange World.
Strange World. That was on purpose. They okay, so let's talk about Dune 2, because I want to bring something up, and I want Vanessa to say if I'm right or wrong. I want you to chime in on this theory. I think Dune 2 is going to make a lot of money, less because of the property and that it's a sequel to a fairly respected sci-fi movie from the past few years, but because it has two very hot male stars in it, and it's going to bring in the female audience. It's got Timothée Chalamet and the guy who played Elvis.
The guy who played who?
Elvis.
Oh, he's going to be what's
Austin
his name?
Butler.
Yeah, Austin Butler. Thank you, Christopher.
Right.
I couldn't get that out of my head. It was in
It's gonna be
there.
Sting, right? That's who he's going to be.
Yeah, he's playing Sting's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he gonna wear Sting's outfit?
I don't
A
know.
little metal
man.
bikini.
You might. You might.
Then
And,
the girls will go watch it.
Well,
Well-
and it's also got Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson in it. Which
Doesn't
should
it
bring
have-
a bunch of
I
other
think-
people?
So
Isn't
Are-
Florence Pugh in that as well? Or
Is
am I
she?
wrong on that?
Florence
Oh
Pugh,
my
I think, is the princess. Yeah, I think she is the
That's a
princess.
selling point for me.
There you go.
Even though
Great cast, and I think the other one had enough kind of nothing and enough story that people will want to see this one to see the action and how it's all going to wrap up. It's going to be the big stars, but also I feel like the other one came out like it was kind of COVID-y, right? So are they going to release this one to HBO Max? This
No. There was part of the agreement was that this
So,
had to go to theaters.
it's going to make a lot of money.
It's going to make money because a bunch of people that wouldn't have seen the first one saw the first one because it was on HBO Max and they didn't have to go to the theater to see it. And it became a hit, a sleeper hit, I guess, for
Yeah.
a lot of people who normally wouldn't watch it. Like
Yeah.
have talked about how much they loved it, and they'll probably go and see it. Yeah.
I think it's going to make a lot of money.
Or they'll
Yeah.
wait for it to be on, whatever the hell
I was
HBO and Discovery call their new app.
I was
in
happy
6
to
months.
watch it on HBO, so I didn't have to see
No,
it. in theater.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken's going to be in it too. He's playing the Emperor.
Oh, that's right. Her dad.
Oh my god!
Right. Yeah. no,
Wow, that might be just the price of admission right there.
I first like weird and crazy and not all put together. The 80s one is. I love the one from the 80s. But it's like I get to have that and something really good. And even though it's long and epic, like it's still good. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League. That movie is obnoxious, but it's really good because it's an epic and it's telling a story. And like I know whatever you guys want, but
I
I
agree with you. I agree with you.
I like that. And I like
And we're gonna get more worms. We're gonna get a lot more worms in those.
a lot of worm riding. They're gonna be riding worms.
We got tease at the end. Just
It's gonna be all doom all the time.
there you go.
Yippee ki
I feel like Anakin Skywalker right about now.
Let's end on this. Like you said, Fast X did not make our list.
I'm kind of shocked it's not on your list, Doc. 'Cause
Well,
you've been the biggest like Fast and Furious person out of all of us.
I've been enjoying the hell out of them.
I saw my first. Well, I saw the first Fast and the Furious, but I've never seen any of the sequels. And the only sequel I saw was with you
Yes,
in
yes.
the theater. Was it Fast 5? Was that what
Yep,
it was?
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was very enjoyable, I will say, because it was not unbelievable. It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And then now they're like astronomical.
Now they're in space.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do
So
next.
9 burned me a little bit. 9 burned me a bit. It burned
Did
me,
it?
and it burned me enough not to even consider it to be on the list.
So you,
But,
you're no longer calling them family. Is that what you're saying?
Ain't about family.
there might be distant family now.
Family.
So we'll see. We'll see.
A movie that I'm surprised none of us even acknowledged.
Not mentioned, but acknowledged.
The Hunger Games movie.
That's because
I mean,
Why?
I feel like that's. I personally don't care, but I feel like that's one of those like second half of the year movies that could surprise us with how much money it makes.
Well, where's the? Well, they haven't really marketed it. First of all,
no, it's not coming out
second of
till
all,
then.
I wonder if the fan base is as fervent for it like they were in the past. I've never seen a Hunger Games film,
But-
even though my brother gave me. I have a signed poster, but my brother gave me. I have a film I've never seen, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because has there been trailers for this?
no.
Is there a poster for it? I mean, it's like that's what I'm saying. I feel like I feel like we're in a weird time now because back in the day, they'd be marketing it like a year ahead of time. They would have the actors show up at Comic-Con and all these, and COVID's kind of like, I don't know if it's just screwed that process up, but it's like the studios aren't really putting a lot of effort into it like they used to, you know, because I know.
Be interested to see what this year's Comic-Con. And SLATTMAN, another one is Wish coming out in 2023 for Disney.
I was burned on the last Disney movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's a reason why no Disney movies were on my list this year. I was burned by the last Pixar movie.
We didn't do the Prince, the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's coming out.
I was burned by the last live action Disney remake.
I almost put that on my list just to see, because I think that one little snippet where we see her sing is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest problem with the live action versions, they're just doing a shot for shot almost remake, except maybe taking problematic stuff that might have been in the past. And I wish I mean, that's why I love the animated the stop motion animated Pinocchio movie, because it's a totally different story. I mean, I think there's a way to tell a different story, but not do it shot for shot, because we have the animated film. Making it live action doesn't make it any better, just throwing some CGI or changing up characters and stuff. Tell a different story a little bit, you know, at least put some effort into it. But I think because it just makes you look at the original like, oh, that was so much better or more interesting, or minus the problematic stuff, like you can tell things like Peter Pan or something.
I'm hoping I'm going to be more interested in actually going to the theater. That's what's in, you know, a lot of movies didn't draw me into the theater this year, and they should have, but I chose not to. So this year needs to change that. And but nobody chose Expendables 4. We also we're
expendable.
We'll throw that away, and we also get Kenneth Branagh's third hero. I don't know pronounce it.
Agatha Christie.
Yeah, the Haunting in Venice.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
And what is it? What's the character's name? I feel bad.
Hercule
Poirot. Yeah. Hercule Poirot. Right. But it's got Michelle Yeoh in it. Tina Fey.
I've never seen the other two.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things.
And I kind of want to see it. I mean, after just seeing the Ryan Johnson stuff, I kind of just
are they
watch
streaming
more.
Anywhere? I believe both of them are. I believe so.
One of them was on Amazon or something at one time.
Yeah, I didn't see the other one. That's the second one I did not see in the theater, but I did see it streaming. So that one's streaming, and they're both really good. The second one had a little bit of a casting problem. Another one.
The second one had another one of those drama type
things
with a possible cannibal. So
where they literally tried to hide that actor
on
the poster.
They cut so much of his out. Yeah, Gran Turismo. You mentioned that like early on. Before we even got here, SLATTMAN.
Is that still coming out?
It's probably not. There's not even a poster for it.
Who knows? But
that was the one with the guy from
David Harbour, yeah.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
No, Dave Harbour is supposed to be in it, right?
Oh, I thought it was a guy from Breaking Bad.
I thought it was not Bryan Cranston, but the other guy from Breaking Bad.
No, that's the other movie. He did the other movie. Another one.
So that's the problem. It's they all run together. It's like it could be GTA or Gran Turismo.
Orlando Bloom is in Gran Turismo, supposedly.
Yes. So here's one movie that I'm actually looking forward to, but it's just not enough into it for me, and that's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's talk about a movie that's going to be a downer when you watch it.
It's definitely, but it's going to be damn good, though, right?
I think, well, for me, the only thing I want to see is how you created the whole bomb going off, because supposedly he did it practical. And I'm like,
how do you do that practical?
I don't know. But that's the most intriguing thing to me is unless Christopher Nolan actually made an atomic bomb go off and filmed it using IMAX cameras. But I'm really intrigued at how he was able to pull that off. But yeah, it's like, I really don't really care about. Yeah, let's watch how we made a bomb that killed millions of people. But it is Christopher Nolan, so I'm sure it's going to be really well shot and have some great performances in it. But I think the subject matter really isn't as interesting to me.
It's such a because he'll make it a cinematic movie, but it's not a cinematic subject, right?
Yeah.
At least except for the boom. But what about the rest of it? I don't know. I'm torn, but I am eager to see it at some point. And then the last movie we'll mention before getting out of here is who's a Transformer fan here? Anybody? Because they're gonna have Rise of the Beast this year. No?
I'm
Okay.
just like, I'm
Yeah.
over it. I mean, I'd rather go watch the original animated series at this point,
Yeah.
especially hearing all the stuff that Michael Bay did involving their previous films. But
what was it, Bumblebee? I really like that one. That was.
I've heard that one's
Well,
one of the better ones.
the approach of that was much more interesting. But
Yes.
I don't know. I almost feel like they just need to, if they do it, just redo it totally instead of making it all the same.
Yeah.
He needs to do a
franchise.
Teenage
Well-
Mutant Ninja Turtles Transformers cross.
So there's supposed to be a Ninja Turtle animated movie coming out, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but we have a different director for that, Stephen Capel Jr. So.
All right.
Who did Creed 2. So, all right. There we go. Our time is up. It's been an hour. All right. There you go. There's our most anticipated. Please let us know what you think of our list and let us know what your list is. Vanessa.
Did we miss something, you know?
Oh, I'm sure we did. I tried to get them all in there. Vanessa, Christopher, SLATTMAN, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
No problem. It's always fun talking with you guys
Definitely.
and gal.
Be sure to join us next week when we talk about most anticipated TV shows. Ooh. Now we'll get some Star Wars versus CGI.
Oh my gosh, my top 4 is gonna be Star Wars, and Star Wars.
Well, after Andor, I'm not sure what to think about.
Oh,
Star Wars.
no.
Oh, I love Dan. We'll say.
I
that
know
for
you
next
did.
week.
That's
We'll start a whole nother hour discussion. All right, guys, let's get at it. Let's say goodnight.
good night.
Good night.